We'll start things off with the quick news, and the first thing I wanted to go over is relating to the OKestGamer Discord. I'm not sure how many of you came across the announcement, but we have repurposed the OKestGamer Discord. It's now called Handhelds United, which is a new server for anyone in the handheld community, specifically the handheld PCs. There's a few of us that have joined together, so there's myself, there's Gamers Generation, there's Windeck Tech, and Gaming for Insight. So we've merged our communities into one, and we also have a few other channels that are special guests, so they have a presence there, but it's not necessarily their main community. And if you're a YouTube content creator that makes handheld content, then definitely reach out. We do have a specific chat that's set aside for the YouTubers, and we've been able to help each other out quite a bit, so definitely check it out. Link will be in the video description. Moving on to the next bit of news is the TJD T101 now has some reviews from Retro Game Corp as well as ETA Prime, so if you were watching that one, definitely check out those videos. I'll link them down below. And the other bit of quick news is some new AMD drivers for the 7840U. So now we have 23.9.3, which brings with it some more compatibility for some new games like the new Cyberpunk update, as well as introducing anti-lag to Starfield and a few other games. I've tested it out on my OneXFly and it seems to install perfectly fine, no issues where we need custom drivers anymore. So if you want to check out the changelog, check the video description. I'll be leaving a link down below. And that's it for the quick news. So let's head over to the Lenovo Legion update where I have 41 new answers to questions that came from the recent Ask Me Anything. For the Legion Go, we have a ton of things to cover. The Legion Go is now available for pre-order, as well as I have 41 questions that were answered in the recent Ask Me Anything. And this is 41 after I've removed the previously answered questions from the list. Before we get into the questions though, let's first cover the pre-order. So the pre-orders are now live. If you want to buy it in Canada or the USA, you can purchase it at Best Buy's website. In the USA, you can get both the 1TB or 512GB models for $699 or $749 USD. And it's available on October 31st. If you're in Canada, however, it's only available on November 1st, and you can only purchase the 512GB model, which is too bad for Canadians because we do also have delays with our Canada Post typically, so I'm looking at probably 2 or 3 days after the USA. It's a little bit unfortunate that the 512 is the only option in Canada. I would love to see the 1TB, but unfortunately we're not getting that. So for those that are looking to upgrade, I will be doing an SSD upgrade video, so stay tuned for that once I get my device. So I've already placed my pre-order, but how about you guys? Are you guys planning to get the Lenovo Go, or is this something you're going to pass on or maybe wait till reviews come out? Let me know what your thoughts are. Now that we've covered the launch, let's take a look at some of the questions from the Ask Me Anything. So the first question's already been answered. The 1TB and 512 will be available in the US but not in Canada. Will the drivers be available on day one for download? Yes, support.lenovo.com has all the drivers and guides that are available for products as they release, so you can expect that to be available on launch day. Will Legion Space software also be available on day one for download? And the staff was 90% sure, but they do need to verify. I'm going to assume that it's going to be available because that's what's responsible for the driver downloads. Some questions that were asked for the software is, will there be a cloud recovery option for swapping out your SSD? And it sounds like it won't be available at launch through Legion Space. They did mention that Windows can take care of this, so I'm not sure if they have plans to bring it to Legion Space in the future or not. How are driver updates handled? It sounds like it's all going to go through Legion Space, kind of like the My ASUS app on the ROG Ally, so you should be able to get all your drivers in one spot. What is their planned commitment for Legion Space in terms of years? The staff said their plan is to support it for the longer term because it's going to be handling all of your updates, your firmware, your drivers, so they do plan to support it in the long term. Is there a plan for Legion Space to have per game profiles for TDP, resolution, refresh rate, FPS limit, and controller profiles? The staff said it's still a work in progress. They're not sure if it's going to be ready for launch, but it is something that will be coming to the software. Someone had asked if they could have a number of different options for VRAM assignment for the GPU, and right now it sounds like 3GB is going to be the default. And they're going to be adding the option for 3, 4, or 8GB and possibly looking to expand that in the future, although they couldn't fully commit to that yet. Can the TDP limit go up to 35 to 39 watts? And it sounds like it's going to be maxed out at 30 watts at launch, but they're looking into potentially 35 watts in the future. Moving over to some questions about hardware, is there going to be a 32GB RAM version in the future? We have heard this question asked before, but they did say that it's potentially an option, that they were going to look into it, but currently there's nothing planned officially. Are the USB-C ports 40 gigabit per second Thunderbolt? The staff said that both ports are identical. They offer power delivery, DisplayPort 1.4, USB 4 with 40 gigabit per second transfer speed. They're not certified Thunderbolt 3, but the underlying technology is there. Does the micro SD card slot have bootable functionality? The staff said that they still need to confirm this as they haven't had a chance to test this on final hardware, so they couldn't give us a full answer. Will there be an LTE model? Will there be an attachable keyboard and also pen support? There's no plans for an LTE or 5G model at this time. The display does not support pen input, and they're also looking at the possibilities of implementing a physical keyboard, probably some kind of attachment, but they have nothing confirmed yet. What is the max read and write speed of the SD card reader? They told us that it's a UHS 2 card slot, but they weren't able to tell us exactly what the speeds will be, so we're going to have to stay tuned for that one. Can we boot from a micro SD or external SSD if they're attached through USB? It sounds like if they're attached through USB-C, like a dock or a hub, then they will be bootable. Is it simple to upgrade the SSD? How simple is it to upgrade the SSD? The staff said that it's fairly easy, you just need a small Phillips head screwdriver and a spudger. And they also went with the 2242 size SSD so that you'd have more options for purchasing. Do you anticipate any SD card reader issues? The staff said that the SD reader will lovingly cradle your cards with care, and you also get 1 year of Legion Ultimate support, so if you have an issue, there's a quick resolution. And they clarified that this statement was really in relation to Canada and the US and that he couldn't speak to other countries. How long is the included charging cable? They measured it and said it was about 70 inches long. Can the Legion Go reach full TDP on a power bank? Well, apparently if it can reach full 65 watt charging, then it should be able to give full power. Can the Legion Go charge above 65 watts? Well, it sounds like both ports support PD3, so it should be able to accept up to 100 watts of charging. And some questions about the controllers. Do the controllers work with Steam input? Is it seen as an X input device? Yes, they work well with Steam input, and apparently it is output as an X input device. Are the controllers replaceable outside of the warranty or RMA, and what is the price? The staff said that they couldn't comment right now, but there will be more information to come soon. How do you left click and right click on the trackpad? For the right click, you long press. For a left click, you just tap. The person brought up that this wouldn't be ideal for RTS games, so they were going to check into more options through Legion Space to see if we could customize it further. How are the controllers charged? Well, they're charged while being connected to the main unit, and they'll always be charging until full, regardless of whether the main unit is plugged into power or not. Will there be a hotkey to pull up the on-screen keyboard? Yes, there's a number of hotkeys. All you need to remember is to press left Legion key plus left bumper, and it pulls out a screen where it gives you a list of all of the commands. Will the trackpad work for every game? And apparently it's supposed to work just like it would on a regular laptop, so whatever you'd see on a laptop is what you'll experience here. Do you expect that there will be third-party controllers in the future? I think the question was in relation to the controllers that attach to the device and the staff misunderstood, but the staff said that any Bluetooth or Windows controllers that you would normally use on a desktop or laptop will work on the Legion Go. Will the pogo pins from the controllers being exposed get in the way of gripping the controller or get damaged? And they said that they're very small, they're spring-loaded, and they are recessed into the controller. Will buttons like the M1 or M2 have multi-functions, like where you could do button combinations? Apparently not, they're going to just be assigned one function, but that's something that they may look at in the future. Now some questions related to customization. Will Lenovo support and collaborate with community OSs and software? The staff said that Lenovo is very open to collaborating and really wants to, but some of the challenges they run into is resources and time to be able to commit to this. They did say that they value and appreciate the community engagement, so I'm going to guess this is going to be one of those case-by-case basis, but we'll have to wait to see. Will Lenovo release a CAD model? The staff said that they can't confirm, they need to look into the legalities or if there's any kind of issues with that, but they would check into it and get back to the community. Is there any plan for special edition controllers or maybe some skins or shell swaps? The staff said that they want to build out a bigger ecosystem, but they also want to explore what the community interest is and then kind of go from there. And now some miscellaneous questions. So are the speakers as good as the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally? The staff said that this is one of the areas that they admittedly do not have the advantage, but they are going to be looking at ways to improve the speakers with software, possibly Dolby, maybe something else. Are they planning to connect with third-party parts suppliers like iFixit, or is Lenovo just going to sell the parts directly? They said that they have no plans at the moment for third-party and all parts would be coming directly from Lenovo. Any plan for a silicone TPU case? They're going to relay this to their accessory team and see what they say. Will the Legion Go have an unlocked BIOS? Apparently the UMA frame buffer size are all configurable and they aren't locked within the BIOS. Is there face recognition or a fingerprint reader? And they said no, that the only way to log in right now is through a PIN. And that's everything. So I didn't think we were going to get more information after the last Ask Me Anything, but I was definitely wrong as we got another 41 questions. And that's all I've got for the Legion Go. If you are planning to get one, get your pre-order in now. I'm sure they'll still be stocked, but why risk it? And with that, let's head over to the ROG Ally. For the ROG Ally this week, I have one update for you guys, and then I have a couple of accessories I wanted to show you. For the update, we got an MCU update as well as the whole Armory Crate app, which added some functionality for calibrating your joysticks, something that we've been asking for quite some time. And this isn't to be confused with that software that they have already built in from day one. This is actually a more refined version that seems to take care of that dead zone issue that many people were complaining about. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check the full changelog, but I'll show you exactly what it changed in the software. If you go to the Settings tab in Armory Crate, you can click Calibrate on the controllers and you can adjust the joysticks and the triggers. So to calibrate the joysticks, it's very easy. All you have to do is go to the four corners with your joystick when it prompts you and hold it for about 2 seconds so that it can register. If your joystick isn't making the full motion, it'll adjust, or if it's making too much of a motion. After that, you just need to rotate 3 times and you're good to go. Some people tested this out that were having issues with the right joystick on their Hall Effect joysticks, and apparently this helped them. So I'm going to test that out and get back to you guys, but this is very promising. If we combine a low dead zone with Hall Effect joysticks, we might get a really nice option here. For the triggers, it's very easy. You just have to let it sit for a second at the beginning and then push down all the way for a second so that it can detect the full motion. So it's good to see that they put out a fix for the dead zone issue. This is something that people have been talking about pretty much since day one, and a lot of people have had issues with it. I haven't personally noticed too much, but I think it affects some games more than others. I'm more excited to see how the Hall Effect joysticks hold up now. Like, this might actually fix the last issues that I was having. I kind of took a break from it when I got my new Ally, the Ally number 3. This one really wasn't responding well to these joysticks, so I figured I'd take a bit of a break from it, maybe come back to it later, so this might be that fix that I needed. But that's the main highlights from that software update, so check it out if you haven't already. It should automatically prompt on your device if you have automatic updates set to on. So that's it for the software updates, but I do have a couple of cool accessories I want to show you, so let's take a look at those now. So the first accessory isn't actually for your device, but it's more for your game room or your PC room, man cave, wherever you're going to put it. And honestly, it's pretty cool. So it's got a switch here and it plugs in through USB, and it's actually a cool little neon light. So let's go ahead and turn off the lights and test it out. So the one I have has a blue outline with purple buttons, and obviously if you can't tell, it's the ROG Ally. And it looks pretty cool when you put it up on the wall, so let's take a look. So when I turn off the lights, you can actually get an idea of what it looks like. Like, it's pretty bright. Kind of reminds me of signs you would find in a bar. And honestly, it's just a nice addition to the game room. I have to figure out where I'm going to put it, but I stole my wife's shelf for the demo here. So if you have any interest in this, you can check out handhelddiy.com and you can check out what they have here. They do have 2 color options. They have blue and purple. And I did ask them if they're considering making custom signs. Like, you can see they have a PlayStation controller there. And I actually have one coming that has my logo. It looks pretty cool. It's not here yet, but it's on the way. So if you're interested, check out the video description. I'll drop the link down below. And the second accessory is actually a skin for your allies. So this is from Maya Combo. I'm probably butchering that. I saw a post on Facebook where they had shown one of their ally skins. So I reached out to the company to see if they would like to show it to you guys, and I actually ended up purchasing a camera skin from them, which is what the company typically makes, but they did make a skin for the Steam Deck as well as the ROG Ally, so it's got some nice textures, but let's get it on the Ally first. And as you can see, it's got some pretty cool textures, and it has something that covers the bezels. Now, I'm admittedly not the best at putting these on, but I did my best. It comes with covers for the buttons. I probably will take these off later. You can see I have a couple blemishes here in the corner I need to fix, but it is precisely cut. For those kind of blemishes, they recommend using a hairdryer or a hot air gun to smooth out. I just haven't got around to it as I ran out of time for the video. If you're curious about this one, check out the video description. So what do you think of these kind of accessories? Do you want to see these in the weekly? Do you want me to keep seeking these out so I can show you guys? Or is this something that you prefer not to see in the weekly? Let's talk about it in the comments. And that's all I've got for the ROG Ally this week. Let's move on to the Steam Deck. For Steam Deck this week, I only have a couple updates, and they're for SteamOS. So we had one update on September 25th where we got some fixes for the SD card reader. There was some kind of weird bug where they were showing up even if there was no SD card inserted. There was also a few fixes for remote play. Apparently you'd get a black screen if you were streaming from a computer, as well as a bunch of fixes for Steam input. It seems that most of the fixes were relating to gyro controls. Then on September 29th, we got another hotfix, this one also relating to the SD card where it wasn't showing up after a system reboot. And then they fixed an issue with the game art where it wasn't showing up correctly, or in some cases was showing the wrong language. And that's it for Steam Deck. It's a bit of a quieter week, so let's move over to AOKZOE. For AOKZOE this week, the only update is the AMD drivers that I talked about in the quick news, so check out that section for more information. These should work on the A1 Pro. Aside from that, we haven't heard anything for the A2 yet, but I'm assuming it's going to happen sometime after the holidays. If you guys see something before me, just let me know. And that's the short and sweet update for AOKZOE. Let's move on to OneXPlayer. For OneXPlayer this week, I only have a couple things to cover. The first one is that the Onexfly campaign has now concluded, so if you're looking to purchase one of these, you're going to need to go to the OneXPlayer store, and you can find it there for $9.99 for the 32 gig 1TB model, or $10.99 for the 32 gig 2TB model. Another update for OneXPlayer is that I did test out the new drivers that we talked about in the quick news section, and they do work on the OneXFly, and I believe they'll work on the OneXPlayer 2 Pro. So if you have either of those devices, you should be able to download it directly from AMD and install it straight onto your device. We don't have to get any custom drivers for this one. Another update for OneXPlayer is they're actually going to be hosting a live experience event in LA on October 7th, and this is from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can find the announcement on their Twitter page, and if you follow the link that they have posted there's actually a spot where you can reserve your time, so you have to pick a specific time. There are limited slots, so if you are in LA and you're looking to attend, I would suggest taking a look at it sooner than later just to make sure you can lock in a slot. And one last update also relating to the OneXFly campaign is people are starting to get shipping notifications, and I believe a few people have already received their device, so it seems like most of the backers should get their product fairly soon. And that's all I've got for OneXPlayer, so let's head over to AYANEO. This week for AYANEO, I don't have a ton to go over, but I do have a few things. So there's been a few AYANEO Kun reviews that have come in, so if you haven't had a chance to check them out, definitely check them out. There's two reviews you probably want to check out. There's one from ETA Prime, and there's another one from Udon, and both of them have had good things to say about the device. And one of the things that they actually noted was the unboxing experience. Apparently it comes in a wooden box, which I've never seen that in a handheld. And they also burned the logo into the wood, so it's unique. It looks pretty cool, so definitely check it out, even just for the unboxing experience. There's also the 7840U drivers that I referenced in the quick news section, so that should work on any of the devices that are running that chip. Another quick update is that the AYANEO Pocket Air has now started to ship out, so if you're one of the backers for that, hopefully you'll get your device soon. And speaking of campaigns, the AYANEO Slide has its preview page live, so you can sign up for email notifications and get a little bit of information for the device. It sounds like it's going to be coming really soon, and I believe they showed it off at the Tokyo Game Show. There was one more update that I didn't really have time to look into, so I'm going to have to include it next week, but I believe there's been a BIOS update that allows some configuration of the memory. I think I remember seeing that you could get it up to 7500 megahertz for the AYANEO 2S, but don't quote me on that. I need to look into it a little bit more. But that's going to wrap it up for AYANEO this week, so let's move on to GPD. For GPD this week, I have a few things to cover. The first one is the 7840U drivers that I covered in the quick news section. You're probably seeing a bit of a theme here, so go check that out if you want to learn more, as that should work on all the 7840U devices. We also got some pretty highly anticipated software that we've been waiting for quite some time, and that's for the calibration tool for the joysticks. So it sounds like the software is now live for the GPDwin 4, so if you want to calibrate your joysticks, lower the dead zone, you can pick up this software, and it should help quite a bit. I haven't had a chance to personally test it, but I've heard good things in the community so far. We also got an update on the Win 4 shipping, so that's the 7840U and 7640U, so it sounds like they've gotten all of the devices completed now. However, they're not going to be able to ship out the last bit until after the holidays, so when they get back on, I believe it's October 8th, they should be shipping out the rest then. Another thing that they let us know is that there is a shortage of the 7840U, so they've removed the Win 4 7840U and the WinMax 2 7840U. It seems that they're anticipating the shortage to last about 2 months, so if you were looking to get one of those, you're probably going to have to wait a little bit. And that probably includes me, because I was going to be getting those from Geek Buying, but I'm going to guess they're also not going to get them until later on. Aside from that, that's all I have for GPD this week. So did you end up getting one of the 7840U Win 4s or WinMax 2s? If so, how are you liking it? And that's going to do it for GPD, so let's head over to AYN. For AYN this week, there's a couple of updates. The first one is that the Odin 2 review units have now been sent out, so you should be seeing some reviews coming live shortly. And my second update for AYN is actually related to the Odin 2 as well. So it seems that they're looking to, I guess, make a community logo contest for people to design a logo for the Odin 2. So if you're a little bit more creative, you may want to check out their Discord server and see if this is something that you want to participate in. I'm probably going to take a crack at it and see if I can come up with something cool. There's a few different contests connected to it, so you'll want to check their Discord server for a little bit more information, but it seems like one of the prizes will be an Odin 2 Max, so definitely check it out if you're interested. So that's all I've got for AYN updates, and that's also the end of this news recap. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.